Today I thought I would do a little bit of a product review for you, and I thought that for my first product review I should start with stamps because they're one of my most favourite things. It's probably one of the first craft items that I purchased, along with the inks to go with it, and this is how I store my stamps. So these are all of my stamps from Kaszazz, so you can see I've got quite a lot here. This is one of 3 tubs of stamps that I have, and that's for my rubberback stamps like these, and also for my clear cling stamps. Then I have another drawer full of the wood mounted stamps. So just sort of show you sort of how I keep them, and what I'm going to do is sort of talk you through how the stamps come from Kaszazz. So generally you can buy an individual stamp, or you can buy what they call an uncut set. So this one here is an uncut set that I've recently purchased, and I haven't cut it apart yet, but you can see there's individual stamps on these, and the idea is that you then go and cut them out. So hummingbird up here, sort of this floral pattern here, some text here, a bird cage and a bigger hummingbird down the bottom. So that's what you generally do with these uncut sets. And yeah, so I'll take you through the stamp that I'm going to review today, and it happens to be my favourite stamp, and I think it's just because it's versatile. So what I actually do is I stamp the whole image and laminate it. So this is the laminated piece, and then I also cut another piece of laminated, so it runs through the laminator but clear, to fit over the back of the stamp, and then that's how I store it. Even if I have cut it apart, I actually store it the same way, just in pieces on that backing laminated piece. So this is a stamp that you can quite easily cut apart. You can see there's sort of, you know, do what makes you happy, be with who makes you smile. They could all be separate, and the butterflies could all be separate too. And in some aspects it would be easier to have them separate, but also like the idea of having it as a full piece as it stands. So I decided not to cut this one apart, and I'm just going to take the stamp and I will stamp it for you, just so you can see what that stamp looks like. So I'm using watering can archival ink, if you just want to know what colour it is, which is like a light sort of grey colour. Just push firmly there and lift that off, and you can see I didn't ink that or press very well, but you can see the stamp there. And one of the reasons I like this stamp is because it is so versatile. So if you mounted that onto a layered card and put a little bit of ribbon and maybe coloured some of the butterflies, it'll be a pretty image on its own. But what I really like about this is the way it sort of layers together. So I'm going to just quickly wipe that stamp down, because we're going to do some masking on this and still use this stamp all together, but a different technique. So what I want for this piece of card is just the butterflies. So what I'm going to do is start with the top butterflies. I'm going to ink those up fairly well. Then I'm going to cover up this bit and ink that, and then I'm going to cover up that last bit down the bottom and ink that section. Just make sure you get all of it really well. And I'm just going to clean up that edge bit so it doesn't end up on my project. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually stamp those butterflies on one side of this cardstock. Okay, press that down firmly and peel that off like so. So you've created yourself a border there, and then on this pink piece of cardstock I'm actually going to ink up the whole stamp. Now if I just wanted the text, I could do the opposite and cover up the butterflies like I did with with the text previously. I'm going to ink the whole thing because what I actually want is a little bit of both. So I want some text and I want some of the butterflies, and what I'm going to do is actually cut it out. And this is what I like about this stamp. So if you have a look at the text, you can see that a lot of these combinations will go together. So do what makes you smile, laugh as long as you live, love as much as you breathe. So you can kind of mix and match them, or you could just pick out the main words, happy, smile, laugh and love, and put that down a card. So I'm actually going to trim this out. I'm actually going to go through and cut all these text phrases out. And I don't want to cut the butterflies because I may end up using those as well. Just trim that along. Okay, so I've got all my phrases here. Now you could piece them back together in the way that they were, or you can have them separate. So even that as a sentiment on its own, on a card, looks quite pretty. If I trim up edges, and let's say get a piece of black cardstock and layer this like so, and layer that on there like so. So there's lots of different things that you could do. So I'll just trim up some of these. Smile, laugh and happy. Straighten that edge up. You could also go along and change it like that, which is great for scrapbooking as well, because you can use those main words to do up a banner if you like. So now again, you could leave these two together, or you could cut them separately. So do what makes you or you could actually piece the whole thing back together. So do what makes you happy. Be with who makes you smile. Laugh as much as you breathe. And then this love as long as you live may need to be adjusted a little bit. So maybe over here with that one, over there that one, and on down the bottom. And you can see how all of a sudden it becomes a lot more versatile, because you can actually cut them apart quite easily. You could cut the words apart separately and build a whole different sort of meaning to the words. So I'm just trying to think of a combination, like you make me happy, those kind of things. Yeah, there's not a me there, but yeah, so just mixing it up a little bit. Now the other part is that you can actually cut apart these butterflies as well. So they are a little bit fiddly because they're small, but let's have a go at cutting one apart. I generally cut off the little points at the bottom just because they are a little bit fiddly to cut off, And if you've watched any of my videos, you've probably seen this trick before, but moving the cardstock or the paper instead of the scissors will get you a much cleaner and smoother cut. So just going around the edge of that butterfly. But as I said, you could use all of the butterflies, even the smaller ones I've used on certain projects. And before I started recording, I did have a look around to see if I could find any of those cards, but perhaps I've already given them away. And all of a sudden you can add a little bit of dimension. You could also go in and restamp on a piece of this cardstock and add those coloured butterflies as well. So I have to say that this stamp from Kaszazz is probably my favourite, just because it is so versatile, and you can sort of use bits and pieces of the stamp, or you can use it as a whole piece like we have there. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, if you get a chance, I'd definitely have a look at purchasing this stamp, or at least considering when you purchase a stamp, what sort of use are you going to get out of it? How versatile is it going to be? Often enough, we purchase a stamp because we like the looks of it and think it's really cute, which is obviously a good motivator, but if you're only going to be able to use it on one or two projects, and then you're going to get sick of it, it's probably not worth the purchase. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.